Hi everyone, I hope you're well. This is CoinsKid, just gone on to Bitcoin. We got a CoinsKid cruise. So I did make a tweet a few weeks ago, basically. I've been away for a couple of weeks, but we was looking at a triple bearish divergence on the ultimate fear and greed index on the CoinsKid website right there, a custom indicator that create for yourselves. The next time we flip dark red here, then I'm looking for the short on Bitcoin. I think we'll come down from a triple bearish divergence. So I did tweet out, I'm patiently waiting to jump into a Bitcoin short. Once I see the micro flip bright red, it will be a triple bearish divergence at that point. I will then go long once I see a flip dark green. So stay tuned, CoinsKid crew. So we'll take a look at that indicator in a moment, because I think there's a chance that we may have been in some kind of expanded flat correction here for Bitcoin after a 5-wave move up. So let's dive into the charts, but we need to pay attention to the king of risk, which is the S&P 500. So we'll take a quick look at that before we continue here, okay? So looking at S&P 500, it's doing really well, but what we've not seen, which is what we've seen in Bitcoin, is we've not seen the all-time high being taken out. So my primary, for anyone paying attention, I think this is an ABC correction here. So we've got the A wave down, the B wave high, and this was your C wave drop. The sharp drop towards the end of the correction, and right now we've got an impulsive move, corrective move, coiling up for the breakout to the upside. So my primary on the S&P at the moment, and I've gone through this with you, is a 1 into a pullback 2, into a breakout 3 into a 4, and right now we're in final fifth wave territory that's coming up. One thing that's backing this up at the moment is this crystal ball indicator. Okay, so we entered some kind of correction late last year where liquidity got withdrawn and it re-entered, and right now we've got this liquidity being withdrawn and right now it's re-entering. But what we're not seeing in the S&P 500, which is what we saw on Bitcoin, is the all-time high being broken, which is why I think Bitcoin is actually in some kind of expanded flat correction at the moment, and the next wave up should be a very vertical move up, you know. So we've got to pay attention to the S&P 500. If we do start to see it take out the all-time high pretty much like it did in January 2024 right there, you know, when Bitcoin was crabbing going sideways, I think we've got a clue. We're looking at verticals across the board in altcoins, which is typically what we're looking at towards the end of the cycle. And with that, we've got a 1 into a 2 into a 3 into a 4 into a final fifth wave in the S&P, right on cue with the alt season and obviously M2 global money supply, the crystal ball going vertical. So that's currently my primary. At the moment, we are seeing positive news from the S&P 500 by holding the 20-week EMA, pretty much like this V-shaped recovery. Held the 20-week EMA, held it, boom, boom, boom. Once it started to break down, this was in 2022. That was your big whopping correction, which I think is coming after this next big impulsive move to the upside. So keep an eye on this. Equally, look at the drawdown in the global liquidity right there, the crystal ball. Once we start to see something like that, the next time in the orange line, I think that should get out a crypto card right there. So let's dive into the Bitcoin chart. But so far, so good. If this particular chart can hold the 20-week EMA, I think it's a very bullish statement. Equally, we take out that all-time high. You know, I'm buying as much Fartboy, XRP, VeChain, Cardano, some of these lackluster altcoins. I'll be taking positions in them for the next big vertical in crypto. Let's dive into the Bitcoin chart, see what we can see, okay? So looking at the micro fear and greed index, then to get these indicators into your charts, just go to coinskid.com and follow the process. It's really simple. I've made many indicators for you over the years. We've got liquidity dance, we've got a crystal ball, the dumb money, the waves indicator, Bitcoin pi cycle top, buy the effing dip and sell the effing rip, okay? And obviously these are your chart indicators that you can drop into your trading view. So these are in-house indicators that I create for the CoinsKid crew. So the triple bearish divergence tagged at roughly, I think 111k, and Bitcoin's been coming down ever since. And from there, I think we're trading around about 104k at the moment. So you got a high just there on the micro fear and greed. We hit 93, then we came up, made a higher high, but the micro fear and greed made a lower high, so we hit 88, and then we made another third high just there for Bitcoin, 111k, and the micro hit 80. So from there we got triple bearish divergence, 1 2 3 peaks, lower highs on the micro, and then boom, higher highs on the index right now, and we've been rolling over ever since. So let's dive into the Bitcoin chart to see what we can see, okay? So looking at Bitcoin on the daily time frame at the moment, I think we've got this breakout 1 into a 2 into a 3 into a 4 into a 5, and on the daily I actually think we've began a correction at the all-time high just there into this level, and this here, this move is a three-wave B wave, basically no different from this three-wave B wave move that we experienced in January. So you know, Bitcoin does this a lot. So basically what I'm looking at is a 1 into a 2 into a 3 into a 4 into a 5, then we've got an A into a B, and right now we're in a C wave. So typically in C waves, what I do look for is 5 waves. So we've got a 1 into a 2 into a 3 into a 4 into a potential final fifth wave that comes down like this. Oh no, it's going to 0, then it turns around, okay, and then we continue the show. And what you've got is a 1 into an expanded flat wave 2, breakout 3 4 5, so on and so forth, to, you know, finish this bull market off right here for Bitcoin. So what I'm looking for at this particular peak is the characteristics of the top. For anyone paying attention, we didn't see it just there, and we didn't see it just there, and we certainly didn't see it just there. And this is why I kept reminding you, I don't think that this market is done here for Bitcoin. I'm actually, you know, still accumulating, still holding on, because I still think we've not seen the cycle top. What is the cycle top? It's really simple to see. All you've got to do is go to the plus symbol and type in total 2. Really simple process. Drop it in. I've made mine white, but this high here, I remember how really bearish and pessimistic everybody was, but we never saw this lower high for Bitcoin and a higher high in this white line. Okay, and this is what we're looking for. This top way back last year, when a lot of analysts were saying Bitcoin's cooked, it's, you know, coming in for a bear market and things like that. You know, I said to you, we've not seen the characteristics of the top. Equally just here as well, we've not seen it. It's really simple. It's Bitcoin coming up, breaks out, makes a lower high like this. Okay, and where total 2, which is your cryptocurrency excluding Bitcoin, which is basically your altcoins, comes up with Bitcoin, comes down with Bitcoin, but it makes a higher high. We've not seen the characteristics in that price structure so far, but I think it's coming on this next leg here for Bitcoin. So that's currently my primary, and obviously I keep updated as best I can, but so far so good. Tracking the crystal ball, we are starting to see Bitcoin flourish here as anticipated. For anyone paying attention, like I said to you, I think we've got an expanded flat correction here, double bottom, expanded flat correction here, double bottom, and then boom, breakout, boom, breakout. So like I said to you in recent times, we've got quite a significant drawdown in liquidity just there as we approach June, and it's exactly what we're seeing for Bitcoin. So this is part of the ABC zigzag correction, here for Bitcoin. And right now I think we're in final fifth wave territory of an expanded flat correction, and then we continue to show. So you can clearly see this is still trending up. So if we can hold this support at the thick yellow line, which is your 20-week EMA, as in the S&P 500 as well, I think there's a chance we turn around at some point and continue to show here. And what we've got is a potential 1 into a pullback, 2 into a 3, 4, 5. At that point we should start to see the characteristics of the top, where Bitcoin drops and then comes up, makes a lower high, but total 2 comes up, makes a drop, and continue to show. If we start to see those characteristics pretty much like what we saw just there, and equally in late 2017 into early 2018 as well, that's it. The market's cooked. You've got your characteristics of the top. So it's really simple, holding on for dear life. The S&P 500 is the clue, so keep an eye on the S&P 500. So over the next few weeks I'm looking at many altcoin opportunities, but right now, like I've taught you, I always look for 5 waves in C. So possible 1 into a 2 into a 3 into a 4 into a final fifth wave down. At this point, you know, we look for buy zones. I try and tag them as best I can for you, and then we turn around with the global liquidity, which is your crystal ball. And at this point we are really pushing a look for Bitcoin if we're expecting, you know, major moves up to the upside. But at that point I do think there's a potential we see an alt season, and at that point we're looking for a breakdown of the Bitcoin dominance and obviously the characteristics of the top, where total 2 you know, breaks down, continues, Bitcoin breaks down, makes a lower high. There's your characteristics of the top, which I've shown you multiple times on this particular channel. Hope you enjoyed that update. Stay up for session, stay tuned, but at the moment we're still making higher highs and higher lows here for Bitcoin. So I think we've got an expanded flat correction that we're in for Bitcoin. At some point this will turn around and continue to show to the upside. So that's currently my primary. Bitcoin is incredibly bullish. Take care everyone, back to a new update on Bitcoin. Stay up for session, stay tuned. Bye bye.